Okay, so we're at 4 after 12, so I think we'll get started. And if we have some more participants who trickle in as we go, that's okay. All right, so I hope everyone can hear me okay. Did a little bit of a test prior to the session starting, but hopefully you can all hear me okay. If you can't, just throw a message maybe up in the chat or something. So welcome to the CPHR Saskatchewan Mentorship Program kickoff meeting. So huge welcome to all of you as you embark on your mentorship journeys in 2023. I know many of you will have enriching learning experiences throughout the year, and we look forward to hearing about that. Oh, more volume, please. I will try and talk louder. I don't know if I can raise the volume on mine. You might need to raise the volume on your end too. Here, let me just do a really quick check here. Okay. So getting volumes good on others' ends. Okay. Well, so my name is Katie Mariniuk, and I'm going to be facilitating our session today. I am a member of the mentorship committee, and I'd like to just call out some of our other committee members. So we have Ashley Langlois, Marina Boyle, Nicole Norton-Scott, and Leanne Polishin, who's also going to be our screen master here for the day. All right, so let's get into our agenda for the hour. So we have a great hour planned for everyone. We're going to start with an outline of the program terms, expectations, and some of the resources available to you as you navigate through your mentorship journey. And then I'd like to welcome some mentorship pairs from last year to share their experiences, and we'll do a little bit of a fireside chat. And after that, we're going to break out into some groups where we can meet fellow program participants and discuss some different questions. And then we'll bring the group together and close out with any final questions that you may have. And that will wrap up our hour this afternoon. Okay, so getting into some of the terms of the mentorship program. So the program runs from January to December in line with the CPD timelines. The membership renewal takes place midway throughout the program, so the expectation is that participants will renew their membership. The focus of the mentorship program is to learn from each other. You may have a partner who's not located in the same city as you are, and as pandemic has taught us, meeting in a virtual environment is possible, and we really focused on pairing you together based on some of the skills and experience that you have or that you're looking to learn from, and not necessarily geography. So we do ask that participants commit a minimum of 1 hour per month to your partner. CPHRs are eligible to claim a maximum of 10 CPD hours, whether participating as a mentor or a protege. And then for you CPHRs, record your meeting times for auditing purposes, keep those texts, those emails. And there's also a document on the website with meeting where you can record meetings and things like that to kind of help you for those auditing purpose. There's a question in the chat: is the max hours 10 per mentee, or if you have 2 mentees, do you get 20 hours? I'll maybe throw that to Nicole, but I believe it's only 10, regardless of how many mentees you have.
Yes, that is correct. The maximum hours you can collect is 10 in a year.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so some of the expectations that we have for the program. As outlined in the program guide and in typical mentorship relationships, the protege is responsible for driving that relationship. So if you're the protege, you'll initiate contact with your mentor, set up those meetings, and really outline your learning goals for the duration of the mentorship relationship. And really, you can learn from each other regardless of your role. Your stage in your career, the industry you work in, really we never stop learning. So regardless of whether you're a mentor or a protege, we're going to be learning from each other as the program goes on. Mentors don't necessarily have all the answers, but they'll have some really great insight to some of your questions, maybe some references or feedback. And really, we just ask that you approach these conversations with openness, curiosity, really to build that fulfilling relationship. So you'll likely have some conversations about some real issues that are going on in real companies. So we just ask that you keep those conversations confidential, really to promote that safe learning environment. Because if we are talking about real situations, there's some real impacts there. And some resources we wanted to go over with you. There is the mentorship program guide up on the CPHR website. Now, to access these documents, you will need to be signed into your profile. So like I said, there's the mentorship program guide, mentorship agreement to be signed by the mentor and the protege. You especially need to keep this if you're claiming CPD hours. And then there's that mentoring record. So to keep record of meeting dates, topics, lengths of meetings, things like that. So that'll be a really great tool for you to keep in case you're audited. Really, you're invited to share your own resources with programs or program participants. So if you have like a really great article about mentoring in HR and you want to share, please send that off to Nicole and we'll make sure to share it across the organization here. So before we get into the fireside chat, I just want to open it up if there's any questions. And I apologize if you can hear noise in the background. My cat is meowing that he wants to go outside. So I apologize if you hear that. Okay, well, seeing no questions, we'll maybe go to the fireside chat. If you do have questions that pop up a little bit later, you know, sometimes you gotta think on things a little bit. Please feel free to utilize the meeting chat, but we'll also have some time later on for some additional questions as well. Okay, so now I'd like to invite our panel members for a fireside chat on mentorship and to talk about their experience in the program last year. So we have 4 mentorship matches on our panel this year, and I know I'm very excited to hear about their experience. I'm sure you are as well. So I will ask our panelists to introduce themselves and maybe just give like a little 30-second introduction of themselves. So we'll maybe start with Kim.
Hi, Katie. I knew you were going to go with me first. How are you? Hope you're well. Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Bracken. I am a senior manager in human capital at MNP, which is Myers Norris Penny. I work specifically for their national digital practice. So I support folks across the country from coast to coast. And I do have a team that I work with, and they too sit coast to coast. We've got I've got team members Alberta here and out in Ontario and New Brunswick. So I've been mentoring for several years in my career history, and I've had the pleasure of actually mentoring Stacey for the last couple of years. We formalized it this past year, and looking forward to chatting more on that. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Kim. So with that, I'll maybe throw it to Stacy to introduce herself.
Sounds good. Hi, Katie. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Stacy Lulick. I am a senior HR business partner with Evraz North America, and I currently am the business partner for all of Regina as well, but we do have North America locations in Alberta as well as some in the States. So everything under the sun and putting out fires on a day-to-day basis. It's a good experience, but I've been part of the mentorship program with CPHR for, oh goodness, as Kim said, many, many years. I think it's over 10 that I have been a part of it. And yes, Kim and I worked at FCL together. She wasn't on my team and I didn't report to her or anything, but we worked an odd time together, and I really thought she was pretty neat in terms of her experiences. And I approached her and asked if she was interested in a mentorship relationship. And then as she mentioned, we formalized it last year. So yeah, looking forward to talking more about it.
Perfect. Thank you, Stacy. I will pass it off to, who do I have next? Josh.
Hi, everybody. Great to see so many people on the call today and involved in this program. My name is Josh. I'm the Director of HR Business Partners and Talent at Viterra. I got matched up with Brendan. I, like Kim, have a team of HR Business Partners, HR Advisors all across Canada from Vancouver all the way to Quebec. So I have mentoring as part of my normal responsibilities. But I just started mentoring with the CPHR, just applied for this program last year. So this is my first year through the program, but have a lot of good insights to share today. So happy to be here.
Thanks so much, Josh. Now I'll ask Brendan to introduce himself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Brendan Schwan. I'm an HR associate at 3S Health. I was paired with Josh, as he said, and we spent the last year learning, or I spent the last year learning from him and hopefully him learning from me a little bit. A lot of my role is just helping support our HR colleagues and supporting our business, which helps support the health regions throughout Saskatchewan here.
Perfect. Thank you, Brendan. All right. Jantina, and I hope I pronounced your name wrong.
Yeah,
or
you
correct,
did.
not wrong. Sorry.
You got it correct, Katie. My name is Jantina Bergloff. I'm the manager of human resources at Canpotex. Canpotex, I'm not sure if many of you know what the company does. We're an international exporter of potash. Our shareholders are Nutrien and Mosaic. So we have our head office is in Saskatoon here. I have a team that reports into me, and we're responsible for the HR services across our other offices that are also in Shanghai, Singapore, and Sao Paulo, Brazil. This is my first year with the mentorship program. I have my mentee here, Kavya, and she'll speak in a moment. It's my first year doing this program, but I have had lots of other mentorship experience from previous kind of informal arrangements. And I'm really excited to be here to share our experiences with you today.
Thank you so much. All right, Kavya.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kavya Shalki, and I am an HR professional, been one for the past 11 years in Saskatoon. I got paired with Jantina. Actually, we connected the day off just before I was going in for a C-section. And so I've been on maternity leave, but despite not working and on maternity, just being in this program and being connected with a mentor has just helped me stay connected to HR. And we've had amazing sessions where we've gone through many topics. And yeah, I think it's a wonderful program, and I'm very thankful to have Jantina as my mentor and looking forward to discussing that in a bit. Thank you.
Oh, that's fabulous. Thanks, Kavya. That's commitment right there.
Yeah.
So now I'll ask Vanessa.
Thanks, Katie. Well, I'll just say before I get started, I'm honored to be on the land of Treaty 6 territory, traditional land of the Cree peoples and homeland and Métis. I currently manage the Total Rewards program for federated cooperatives. Most of my career journey has been in the total reward space as a whole. I would just say this mentoring experience has been rewarding, fulfilling, and I look forward to sharing some of the lessons learned and the connection with my mentee.
Fabulous. Thanks, Vanessa. And last but not least, Danica.
Hi, everyone. Great to see so many faces online today. My name is Danica Maurer, and I work in HR as well as branding with a small rural company. It's called Land and Sky Grains. We're in the primary agriculture sector, so I have a small team that I work with every day, very close. We become more like a family than just coworkers, which is really rewarding, but also challenging in many ways as well. So I have a generalist position here, and Vanessa, my mentor, has helped me grow in that position this past year, and I really look forward to sharing with you some of the value that we've been able to establish over this last year.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Okay, so I do have a set of questions for the panel to learn a bit about their mentorship relationship and really any advice that they can share for those of us starting that mentorship journey. So new relationships, they can sometimes be challenging, maybe a little awkward in the beginning. So how did you establish rapport in your mentorship relationship, and what steps did you take to build that relationship in the beginning, and how did your relationship evolve as you progress through the program? So I'm going to start with Josh and Brendan. So initially, how did you establish that rapport?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Katie, and I'll start, but it can be a bit awkward to begin. So I kind of try to empathize and put myself in the protege's shoes. So just tried to set up maybe what we thought could be like a model for our discussion, something that would actually be helpful for us, not just in the introductions, but maybe even go forward. And Brendan really kind of attached to this idea. So he really ran with it. So I'll just share it with the group briefly. I kind of asked him to think about all the different areas of HR and the ones that he was comfortable with, maybe not so comfortable with, and the ones he didn't have experience with at all, and kind of chart it out in like a green, yellow, red matrix, if you want to call it that. And so he did that. So he basically looked at all the topics in HR that he's comfortable with and what he enjoys. And we identified that we probably weren't going to spend a lot of time on those topics unless we just needed, to talk about something that happened recently. But we're going to try to focus our meetings, our time together on those yellow and red topics. So the yellow topics being like what he has a little bit of experience with, is maybe somewhat proficient, but still wants to learn more. And then those red topics where he has no experience, he might even dislike those areas of HR. But me, just like other, senior HR generalists on the call, like we have a lot of experience with a variety of different topics, right? So we really focused on that as kind of a structure for our meetings. And honestly, after that, we were kind of off and running after our course of initial just introductions. So I'll let Brendan add to that, but that was kind of how we decided to start.
I think I agree with everything. I was going to say it was awkward at the beginning, so I tried to put myself actually in your shoes to make it easier. But it was, as with anything, you kind of start with the small talk and you get to know the person a little bit too, not just the professional figure on the other side. And in no time at all, we found that we had mutual contacts as well. So it's easy to start relating. So again, with all things, just that small talk, and then it moves into, talking about what we do, where we came from, where we want to go. And it just really blossomed from there. And like Josh said, that exercise kind of really helped build a bit of a structure for us. And then kind of also, without giving them my resume, telling them everything that I've done, it kind of helped shape, who I am as a professional and where I want to work on as well. So that was very helpful. And that was one of the best tools, I think, for helping build our relationship.
Oh, that's great. Thank you both. And I want to open up to the rest of the panel too. Is there anything different, or how did you build those relationships with your mentor or your protege?
I can give a go. I know for Danica and I, we established rapport by getting to set up regular check-ins. And I would say it was quite a natural match between the two of us. You know, she's definitely a bright young professional, and I was inspired by her energy and optimism, maybe with me being later in the game, having maybe some experiences. That optimism really lifted the conversation up. And I think the biggest piece was just laying out the expectations on, like, what did Danica want to see from the relationship and how could I support her in growing? And so that's really where we started. And like I said, I just feel like it was a natural connection right from the get-go. So appreciate that.
No, that's great. Thank you. Anybody else on the panel want to talk about that kind of beginning stage of the relationship?
I might just add in a little bit, Gentina speaking here. I think that one thing that Kevy and I did, we really tried to just get to know each other, talk about our own journey, but then we focused on some goals. So maybe not as structured at kind of what Josh went through with his mentor or mentee, but I think we really got to know each other kind of on a personal level, but also what's your journey been? Where do you want to grow yourself? And how can we set these kind of micro goals each month, and how can we achieve them to get you to where you are? And our relationship was unique because Kavia was on her maternity leave. And so I think that maybe you'll have something to add about that, but I think that that was a really great opportunity for us to connect in a different way, because maybe we didn't have those daily questions that kind of came up working. Yeah, so it was a little bit different that way.
Yeah, I'd agree. And just with what Vanessa said as well, you know, where your mentor actually says, how can I help you? I think Gentina really did that a lot. In every meeting, it was, you know, what are you looking for from me? So that was very reassuring because, again, it was different for us. Like, I didn't have day-to-day working experiences, but I had past experiences that we kind of went over, keeping in line with the structure that the topic that we were discussing at that session. But just knowing that, you know, you can ask anything, be comfortable is what I really felt during our sessions. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, having that safe space to talk about different issues or different questions, that's so important. And so I'm going to throw the second half of the question out to the panel. Really, how did your relationship evolve? So we've talked about those beginning stages, setting those micro goals, talking about what areas you want more experience in, but how did that relationship kind of evolve throughout the program? Anyone has any comments on that?
Hi, Katie, I can speak up. So Stacey and I's mentorship relationship started off quite easy because we knew each other, as she mentioned, from working at FCL together. But it really progressed into a bit of a friendship, as I wouldn't say a bit, it is a friendship, you know, but we chat actually bi-weekly for an hour. So, you know, as everybody said, setting those expectations up front are really, really important to understand the cadence of how often you're going to talk, everything like that. We text each other, you know, just to even bounce ideas off each other, but it's really progressed into, you know, supporting one another. And, you know, there's things that I'll even take to her now to see, you know, hey, how would you handle this situation? Or this is a challenge I'm facing. What are your thoughts? So it's almost become into some reverse mentoring going on as well.
That's really cool. That's really fabulous to hear. Yeah. Is there anyone else who wants to comment?
I'd go. So when Gentina and I started, like we've said, you know, I was on maternity leave. And so the topics that we chose were things that, you know, when I get back to work, this is what I could work on. This is what I've experienced, and, you know, bouncing ideas off each other in that way. And then midway through, I actually got laid off from my position. So now I'm here just at a crossroad, you know, not knowing exactly what's going to happen. And then, yeah, just being able to have her as a support person. And it just was a really difficult time for me. And I was all the way in India, so like way across in the time difference. But even at that point, I got a severance package, you know, which kind of, I wasn't too sure. And I knew, okay, whatever the time, I can message Gentina and just be like, hey, can you, you know, walk me through this, or can I talk to you about this? And she was just there. So just, yeah, starting off from not knowing the person, getting to know the person, but then actually going through the process with them to where they're your support person is just an amazing thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so important to have those people that you can rely on, lean on with questions or just support. That's so important to have. No, thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to get into our second question. So as you've built that rapport, you've developed that relationship in your mentorship, and we've kind of touched on this in some of the answers a little bit, but what types of things did you discuss during the mentorship? And I'm going to start with Kim and Stacy.
Maybe. Stacy, I'll start and then I'll pass the baton over to you.
Sounds good.
So I think there was a lot of things that Stacy and I have chatted about. One of the biggest things was just understanding from a career growth. What are you interested? What do you want your career to go into? And really just diving in and really exploring, what are the things that Stacy loves to do? What are the things that she loathes doing? And so, those career conversations have been really impactful for her to really navigate where she wanted her career to head. So that there was lots of conversations on that. And then just some of the, as Stacy alluded to at the beginning, was just some of the daily challenges that we face from a people standpoint being in HR. They're constant, and you get dealt some zingers throughout your career. So there was lots of those conversations, as well as challenges with leadership and talking through, hey, how would you handle this situation? This is what's been thrown my way. What would you do? That type of thing. And then ultimately supporting her on the path forward. Stacy?
You nailed it, Kim. Kim definitely was instrumental in helping seek out a path and where I want to go in HR. I'd say 22 was a very interesting year. Kim was very much instrumental in a lot of challenges I was having, both with deciding on where I want to take my career path to dealing with some interesting and unique situations at work. She was always available via text, and she's like, hey, call me in 5 minutes. I'm like, okay. And we would hammer it out really quick. And it was just always fantastic to have Kim as a sounding board for every issue. It didn't matter what it was, whether it be, leadership challenges, like, holy cow, what's your take on this email I just received? I'm going to wait my 24 hours before I respond or regret my response, helping draft a little, like, this is what I would say. I'm like, that sounds great. I'm just going to send a copy and paste that type thing. But just really helping, get a different perspective on how to look at situations, challenging situations, giving me a really good understanding on, I know last year I changed jobs. Last few years I've changed a few different positions. So getting some insight into different options, like, okay, this is the pros and cons of each option, and having her feedback and her expertise kind of weigh in, that really led me down kind of to where I am today. So it's been hugely beneficial for me, and greatly appreciate answering a quick text, forwarding a quick email. It's like, what's your take? Getting something back right away. Our bi-weekly chats have been fantastic. And, as she mentioned as well, it's turned into her coming to me with some interesting situations that she's been dealing with over the last few months and offering some feedback. But just really having that different perspective, different view. We're all HR professionals. We all have an idea of what we should be doing, but it's nice to kind of get that, okay, what's another little opinion in our ear going on? And it's the guidance that she has provided has just been fantastic. So in terms of discussing, like the career conversations, leadership challenges, really weird situations that pop up, that's like, I have no idea what the heck I'm going to do. Do you have any ideas? Have you experienced something like this? And just dealing with just the daily support in everything that we do. It's been fantastic.
No, thank you both for that insight. Yeah, as we all know, working in HR, you sometimes get some very unique situations that you have to deal with. So yeah, it's always great to have a sounding board. I'm going to open it up to the rest of the panel if they have anything they want to add.
One thing I can share, Katie, is Brendan and I were sharing our different tools that we had basically been through. I think this was in 2022. I just been trained in a behavioral assessment called Predictive Index, and he had just actually completed training for another kind of working style inventory tool. And so we were able to share our profiles and kind of get to know each other a little bit better there. I wouldn't say we focused a lot, and this is maybe just for the group in general, we didn't focus a lot on career goals. I find it difficult for myself, and Brendan can speak to this as well, but sometimes it's tough to say, well, I want to be, I want to be the VP of HR, I want to be the director of total rewards. Like sometimes it's difficult to know exactly what you want to do. So instead, maybe it's about, taking that more to something that's shorter term, like what would you like to do in the next year, the next 2 years, something like that. What would you like to learn about? What are some development opportunities? And so I find that might be maybe more tangible for some people just as they're starting this relationship, especially on the protege side, because they may not know what they want to be other than in HR, other than being an HR professional, they may not know about what's out there and what's next. And so I found that, having this kind of conversation, talking about our working styles, our behavioral types, what have you, was really helpful.
Maybe to springboard off what Josh said, we also did the same. We explored a tool called Working Genius to kind of like kick things off, I guess, and understanding. And Danica was the one that really exposed me to this. So I felt very blessed to kind of go through it with her. And I also wanted to kind of piggyback off of what Kim said. It was certainly for me a reciprocated relationship where I feel like it was a peer-to-peer relationship. Like, while I might have had, quite a bit of experience, I would say like the optimism and understanding of new business planning and things like that came through was really from Danica. And, for us, it was, this was an interesting time in the economy. So if you were an HR professional over the course of the past 3 years, there's definitely a lot of, twists and turns that we all have to do. So I appreciated helping support her on the small business side, but then also it ranged from everything from, economic uncertainty to HR policy, business planning, employee engagement. We touched so many different topics, the diversity of topics, and I learned a lot from her too. So I just feel super thankful for the experience, and I know we'll continue on for years to come and keeping connected.
Thanks so much. Okay, we're going to go to our third question here. What value did you gain from the mentorship relationship? Now, we've definitely heard some of that value in some of the other questions here, but Jantina and Kavya, I'm going to throw this question to you.
Thanks, Katie. I just think it's such an amazing program. I was preparing for the session, and I was like, you know what, it's one thing to be a leader or a manager, but you're kind of coaching your team members. This is such a different, unique relationship you have with a mentor, because it's not that formal working relationship. You still learn from like your employees and things like that, but we're able to share experiences in a different way and kind of create that unique bond. And you can really see growth over the time that you're with the person, and you develop a really strong relationship. We went from talking about really, task-based things. Kavya would really prepare for each session, which really was great because you kind of you get out of it what you put in. So we kind of started talking about, budgeting, compensation, recruitment, onboarding, and then more into what's the best skills you have for building relationships. And then more into tactical things. Like we even did like a mock interview and like networking tips and career planning and resume writing, those types of things. And so I think Kavya had such a unique experience to draw on, and it really was some real raw conversations and a learning journey for both of us. I'm not sure what you want to share on that, Kavya.
100% totally agree with you, Jantina. I think definitely what you mentioned, the topics we started with and then the way they evolved. I found value in absolutely every session that we had, 100%, even to the point where, like I mentioned, being laid off, it's a tough thing to go through, and then coupled with some personal things, hormones, I don't know, everything together. My confidence was at an all-time low. And just at that point, even I think I even said to Gentina, I'm like, I don't even know, should I even be in HR? But again, just to have that sounding board and be able to have that person say, okay, I'm rooting for you. I know you can do this. Suggesting, maybe do some personality tests, maybe get some career counseling, just a different array of things that you wouldn't think of on your own, having a mentor to guide you through that. And then fast forward to, I got over it. I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. And then, yeah, again, preparing for the next phase, now interviews, applying and having that mock interview. So yeah, 100% value. And then again, like what I think everybody has mentioned over here, these relations, they go on. It is formal right now, but it's something that you're going to have this relation for a long time to come. It just grows into that. So I think a lot of value. So thank you to CPHR for this.
So it sounds like a little bit of evolution based on what your needs are at that time. So
Yes.
that's great. So any tips that you'd like to share with the group on how to build a successful mentorship experience? So Vanessa and Danica, let's maybe start with you on that, and then.
Absolutely.
Danica, do you want to?
Sure, I'll start, you bet, and then I'll pass it off to you. I wanted to share the 3 ways that Vanessa really showed up for me in my mentorship relationship, and this might be geared more towards the mentors because she showed up for me in these ways. But the first thing that she did for me was she pushed me outside of my comfort zone. So she did not allow me to sit in the question marks or sit in this, okay, I'm comfortable, I won't move forward from here. So pushing me outside of my comfort zone, absolutely one of the biggest things that she did for me. And then the second thing that she did was she encouraged me to be brave. So not only did she kind of push me beyond where I was going, she also said, look, you have the tools, you have the resources. I'm here for you. I'll help you be brave in this, right? I'll never forget her saying to me one day, she said, be limitless in your thinking. So it wasn't a question, it wasn't an observation. It was just a cold, hard fact, a statement. You can do this. There is so much opportunity in front of you. Just open your mindset to be able to see it. So not only did she push me outside my comfort zone, she also helped me walk through that to the other side. So those would be 2 tips from the mentor side. Just push us along as young folks. Most of us are young on the mentee side, the protege side. We need that encouragement, and we need someone to just believe in us, because often our family members, our partners, we can't get that from them because they don't understand HR and they don't understand where we're at in our relationships. And then the one tip that would be for both sides of the table would be never stop showing up. Keep those relationships ongoing. Keep those meetings on your docket. Show up bi-weekly, monthly, however it works for you. One thing that Vanessa and I did is we set out the schedule for about 3 months at a time. I would shoot her some dates and some times, and she would pick what worked for her, because everyone's busy, right? We're not in a slow time. It's hard to find time to connect. But then the next 3 months were set up, and it worked really well for us to always show up, never forget or never, avoid connecting. Because sometimes especially at the beginning, it's nerve-wracking to have to make that point to connect. But it was so worth it. I'm very thankful to CPHR. I've been provided so much through this opportunity. And I look around this room and I think every single person in here gained a connection. But not only did they gain that one connection, we all have each other as well. And I can see already how these relationships just are intertwined. So allow yourself to be open to that. Reach out, send messages to your old classmates who are in this room right now and connect with them. Let CPHR, they did the work for you, so now take that opportunity and run with it. Over to you, Vanessa.
Well, I'm quite humbled by your comments. Those were very, very kind comments. And I'm sure everyone can get the optimism of Danica, just her talking. There's a reflection that I have on something that she said around, confidence and competence. Like those are the two themes. And I truly believe that competence comes after confidence. So nurturing that confidence is such a huge component of young professionals. And, you know, you already have it. You already have like all the good tools, all the good learnings. And sometimes it's just believing it. And so, yeah, and I feel like I barely did anything here. All I did was really like, I'm like the little gardener, like putting some water here, maybe pulling out a weed here. And just feel so blessed from watching Danica thrive and grow. The opposite side, I feel like I've learned a lot through this process. The giving back really came reciprocated back to me, and I feel like I wasn't sure how this would all shake out, but in the end, I had so much great learning about young professionals and some of their needs. And I think we're all here, like we work with young professionals every day, whether it's remote working or you're in the office. Just take that moment to you know, say something nice, say something kind. It does have ripple effects, and it's important to keep that in the back of our minds. So again, thank you, Danica, for your comments. They're beautiful, and I enjoyed the process. Thanks so much.
Thank you both
Thanks
for
to you
sharing.
both as well.
So great. So I am mindful of time because we want to go into the breakout groups, but I will open it up, open up to the floor, see if anyone has any questions for our panelists. And you can throw your questions in the chat. You can take yourself off mute, but really want to make sure you have an opportunity for some questions. And don't be shy. We're a safe space here. So no, it can be nerve-wracking coming off mute. So if you do have any questions. Okay, well, I'm not hearing any, but that's okay. I know it's a little nerve-wracking. So again, feel free to use the chat. Really appreciate all that fabulous advice. I know I'm taking that, and I'm learning as well. Some things that I can take back into my mentorship relationship, or even things that I can apply in my day-to-day work. So I really appreciate that. So we wanted to allow some time. Oh, sorry.
Just one comment, Katie. I'm sorry I just thought of something. It's Vanessa again. I just want to put it out there. If there are any young professionals that do want additional support in any way, you know, I think most of us probably feel this way. Feel free to reach out to us via LinkedIn. We're there to support too. And, you know, even though we might not know each other, you know, do want to give back to those young professionals that may want to build their network. So just want to put that out there. I'm not sure, like, you know, others on the panel, you know, Kim, I'll just maybe lob it to you, but knowing that I know you, that's kind of, you know, I do want to help those that are looking to network. So yeah.
No, that's a great idea. Yes. Yes. Build your network out, you know, where it may seem like the members of the organization is this enormous group, but actually, you know, we're a pretty tight community. So we're there to support, and no, that's a great, absolutely great point, Vanessa. I really appreciate you bringing that up. Okay, so we do want some time for a meet and greet. We're going to break you up into groups to discuss the following questions. So what is one thing you're hoping to achieve from the mentorship experience this year, and why is it important to you? What are some ways that you can contribute to the mentorship experience, and what strengths do you bring to the table? And what do you think may get in the way of a successful mentorship experience, and how can you mitigate these factors? So we'll probably break you out only for, I'm going to say about 10 minutes. Wanted a little bit longer, but I do recognize we're running short on time. But we'll maybe do that for 10 minutes. Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. I hope you were able to have some good discussions in your breakout groups. I know we probably could have used a lot more time to chat. It seems to always be the case with different breakout rooms. But want to make sure we get you back and out of here by 1 o'clock. So I'm just going to open it up to the group. If there's any questions that you wanted to bring up or anything that you wanted to maybe highlight from your discussion in your breakout groups that you'd like to bring to the larger group. Anyone have any really good insights or things that they'd like to share? And again, you can utilize the chat as well if you're not comfortable coming off mute.
You know, the one thing that more our group mentioned was that there was no topic that's off limits. You know, Nicole is mentioning that who does the HR person go to when they need support? So it's a good sounding board, and for everybody, from my experiences over the years, and for anybody who this is their first time, don't be afraid to bring up a topic or an issue or a point. That is what everyone is here for. Whether it be a more personal issue or a more professional issue, that is part of building the connection and the relationship and helping you through various issues. It's always good to have a person who's not involved to get their insight. So just don't be afraid of that.
No, that's great. Thank you for sharing that, Stacey. The message in the chat, it's exciting to hear the desire to break out of our comfort zone and self-discovery. This is a safe place. Yes, absolutely. This is a safe place. I love the idea of the sounding board. I know throughout my HR career, I've really appreciated when I can go to someone as a sounding board for different situations. Sometimes you just need to talk it out. So it's always great to have that relationship. Anybody else wanted to share?
I think some advice that I have for the proteges, since it's kind of driven by proteges, is that if there's any nerves about reaching out or starting the conversations, the analogy that I kind of use is maybe extreme, but the spider's more afraid of you than you are of it, kind of thing. Not saying that the mentors are afraid, but they know just as much about you as you know about them. So it's just about reaching out and starting that relationship.
No, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, Brendan. Yeah, for the individuals who are acting as the mentors, they were all young professionals starting out in HR themselves. So can definitely relate. Another item from the chat here is good chat with my group. Only got through 2 questions. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. We only limited by time here, but general excitement to start the relationship with effective planning, consistency, and just supporting each other on the journey. Oh, that's great. So we're at just after 1. So I do recognize that you all probably have things to get back to. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate all the expertise that our panel was able to provide, and excited to start this new mentorship journey for 2023. Some information will be sent out to you, but if you do have any questions, reach out to us. We can help you along the way. As mentioned, there's some great material up on the website that we showed you in the slides previously. So definitely that's a great place to start. But again, thank you all for joining, and we hope you have a fabulous day.